What were you originally expecting from 2020 in your life?
Well, I thought it was going to be a lot better than it turned out to be because we knew nothing of COVID at that time. And we were hopeful because the economy was doing so well and everything in our life was really good. Our kids are all grown and out of the house and doing well. And we had a wonderful New Year's Eve celebration. So I was very hopeful, very hopeful.
And how has 2020 changed you and your family emotionally and financially?
Well, it's impacted us both ways. Um, I, I'm a loan broker, so I have my own business. And the first thing that happened when COVID came out was all the funding sources, the investors and the lenders and the banks all started changing all the guidelines. And first they stopped writing business. And then they changed all the guidelines when they started writing again, but it made it so it wasn't competitive. Well, nobody was competitive. I mean, nobody would take the terms that they were offering. And it got a little bit better, but it really fouled my year up financially. Fortunately, we don't rely on my income. My husband works too. And, I mean, we rely on it, but it's not, critical. And then what I found is that the political environment got so caustic and hateful. We have people on both sides in our family. Most of us are on one side, and we have one elder sister who's on the other side, and she's very immature anyway and kind of not real rational all the time. So the stuff that she would comment and say was so absurd. And I saw her and my younger sister arguing all the time on Facebook. That was just one thing. I saw the divides. Then I saw it not just with them, but with friends and with acquaintances. And I feel like this is going to give away my political persuasion, but what happened is one side is tolerant and listens. Even if we don't agree, we listen and we take it into account and make up our minds looking at facts. The other side, in my opinion, is wrought with emotion, and they have this habit of, don't confuse me with the facts because my mind is already made up. And because of that, sometimes you can't hardly ignore it, especially when it's being directed at you, which it started a lot of times being directed at me from friends and family members. So I'm not mean-spirited. I don't respond to it very much, maybe a little bit, just stating my opinion. But anyway, I finally started just hiding their comments and not looking at them anymore on social media, and found myself studying and learning it, but getting all ramped up. So my friends, one of them is behind you, told me, you got to stop reading all that stuff. It will just upset you and make things worse. So I have backed off on it quite a bit. But anyway, I got overboard on that. That to me changed the trajectory of our country. This 2020 did, and I see us circling the drain right now because there's no good solution to anything that's being discussed about the election. So.
All right. Do you believe our state and local governments handled the situation properly?
Yes, I think they did pretty well. I think that I always call him Chief, the mayor, was a little overboard sometimes, but I think we all complied. We all want to stay healthy, and for our age group, we're all in the vulnerable group, so we have common sense. We've learned from our history, so I think we did good with it. And Florida has done great. I mean, we've had our spikes and everything, but we've managed to get through them, and we have really good treatments here. Some of my friends here are in the medical field, and they work. One of them works at a hospital, and she kept us abreast of the amount of patients they had and the treatments, and they were doing some really wonderful work. So we did have our deaths, I'm sure, with more than, if it was my family, I certainly wouldn't want to experience it, but I think we did a good job with it overall.
Okay. And if you were the boss of the state in charge in the beginning, anything you would have done different?
I don't think so, because I don't think we knew enough. I think this whole thing has been a learning experience all the way to the, not just our state, but the national level. I mean, even Fauci, who's an expert, was changing every week. There was some new thing they learned, and they are still just learning it. Like, the only thing I wouldn't have done is I would not have shut down the schools. I would have figured out the same solution that they came to, because it's taken a terrible emotional toll on them, and that's created financial problems for mothers and dads that both work and have to rely on the school system. Now they had to stay home and work from home and try to educate their children. I think we're going to see a real drop in the education level, and it's going to take a while to get that straightened out. So that's the only thing I think I might have done a little differently. Other than that, I think we did a pretty good job at the state and the local level.
Last question. What are your personal hopes for 2021?
Oh, wow. I just hope so much that I might get emotional here because I'm worried. I think things are just awful. And my hopes are that, I pray about it and just hope that God intervenes and does something. But I worry about there's no good solution, because if they really did steal the election and then they prove that, we'll have insurrection, because the other side are fighters, real fighters, scrappers. When we found, the night that we thought that Trump lost, or that next day when we thought that he lost, we all just said, well, we'll have to live with Biden and probably Kamala Harris, because he may not make it through the first year. This too shall pass. I mean, we'll get through it. We're a great country and great people, and founded on great principles. But the other side won't take it easily if that doesn't happen. If it gets overturned, even if it's all legal. So that worries me.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.